Another film that's been getting some buzz at the big festivals is The Anti-Bin Laden, and I think we have a clip. It focuses on Egypt, and in particular, a wealthy businessman turned popular, moderate Muslim television evangelist. Joining us now is the producer of that film, EUGENIA Harvey. Thanks so much for being with us. The film is all about a preacher, a very particular kind of preacher. Tell us about him.
He's considered a moderate in a land of growing extremism. He's very charismatic, you know, sort of like an American televangelist. He's media savvy. He knows all the buzzwords. And more importantly, and most interesting to me, he started preaching to women. And that's never done in Islam.
Now, his name is Amr Khalid, but he's known around the world increasingly as the anti-Bin Laden. Is that a fair title for anyone, a fair title for him?
I think to some degree it is. I think it's one of those titles that can grow on you. Jim Clifton from the Gallup poll dubbed him that because, like Osama bin Laden very infamously does, he speaks to the poor, the disenfranchised, young people who have nothing to do, no place to go. But unlike Osama bin Laden, he preaches cooperation. He's preaching that, you know, you should reach out to the West, don't alienate them, don't fight them, don't yield to terrorism, but instead yield to entrepreneurship, yield to growth, yield to building a life for yourself. So he's got a more calming, more moderate message.
Well, he has a very different kind of message, and he's got a different kind of look. He is not a scholar or a trained cleric. Exactly. He's an accountant by training. Absolutely. He dresses like a Westerner. And I'm wondering, between those things and the fact that his message is so different, whether the people in the Muslim world greet him like an outsider rather than one of their own.
They absolutely treat him like an outsider. It's very interesting. The conservatives that are in Egypt are very wary of him. They don't like him. The government has, you know, frankly banned him. You know, he's too popular. Everywhere he goes, he draws crowds of millions and millions of people. He's internet savvy. He's got 30 to 40 million people on his website every day. So that can be a threat in a country that's struggling with extremism.
Now, once again, I don't want to pigeonhole the man, but if we have bin Laden and the anti-bin Laden, who's winning, do you think, in the battle for the future of Islam?
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one because the problems that are facing Muslims across the country, you know, they are disenfranchised. And to hear someone like Amr Khalid, and the reason that we did this film on him, frankly, was to give him the microphone. You know, to hopefully, you know, have Muslims hear his message and decide, let me hear more about what he's saying. Let me try to do what he's proposing. Who's winning? The jury's still out on that one because we will just have to see. I mean, hopefully he will.
It's unfortunate and telling, I suppose, that he is an Egyptian who couldn't stay in Egypt. He had to flee.
He had to flee.
Why is that?
I think it is the growing sentiment of people, you know, wanting to try to find their way, wanting to find their base. You know, you know what it is? It's a scramble for who has the microphone, who's getting the microphone there. And he's trying to be one of those people who's trying to get it. And I think that, you know, it's difficult to tell this story without becoming political, and yet it's not a political story. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's a question of who has the power, who has the hearts and who has the minds of the people. And that's what he's going for, because that's really all he can do. He's not a politician. He's not a politician. So he's having to sort of go through it, you know, circumspectly.
His name is Amr Khalid. The name of the movie, once again?
The Anti-Bin Laden. It is being represented, by the way, by Ostro Company, Page Ostro, and we're going to let see it soon.
Okay, you're trying to get it on screens. EUGENIA Harvey, thanks very much for talking with us, and good luck with the film.
Thank you so much.
Baghdad was a center of arts and culture for centuries, and despite ongoing violence there, it's trying to keep that